Are the Mavs done making moves? And where do they stand in the Western Conference right now? And who's a Barbie and who's an Oppenheimer on the Mavericks? Talk about that and more on today's Locked On Mavs.
I'm Luka Doncic, and this is Locked On Mavericks podcast.
Mavericks, NBA champions. Bang! It's good, and the Mavericks have won the game.
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
Loyalty never fades away.
Welcome. You are locked on to the Dallas Mavericks. My name is Nick Angstadt, media member and NBA channel manager for the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Thanks for being part of the show and making Locked On Mavs your first listen every day. Join the Raccoon Squad, be an everyday or subscribe or follow for free. Just search Locked On Mavericks wherever you get your podcasts or on YouTube. But the best way you can help us grow the show is to listen every day and to comment anything below. Let us know in the comment section. I want you in the comment section right now. Name which Mavericks you think are Barbies or Oppenheimers. If you know the meme, you get it. Today's episode is brought to you by Prize Picks. First-time users can receive a 100% instant deposit match up to $100 with the promo code LOCKEDON. That's prizepicks.com, promo code LOCKEDON. If you want to support the show, text us, get text alerts from us on Mavs rumors and things like that throughout the season, as well as the offseason right now. Subscribe to our subtext. Click the link in the description. Really helps support the show. And you can also text the number in the description below. Joining me, as always, my co-host, writer, contributor at Mavs.com in Studio 41, the Oppenheimer homie, the One More Thing King. What you got for me, Isaac Harris?
A little double feature, Barbenheimer. Is that what it's called?
We went Arby. We went the opposite.
Oh, that's weird.
We did Oppenheimer first in like an afternoon matinee showing, and then we did Barbie later at night, and it was an experience.
If you go back to watch one, which one are you picking?
Oh, I'm watching Barbie again. It's very second watchable. The Oppenheimer movie is not a good rewatch. At least for me, because it's like over 3 hours. 3 hours long.
I can't wait.
And it's very intense.
I can't wait. Don't ruin it for me. You have a history of ruining stuff.
There are things in Oppenheimer I would want to watch again. Like the actual explosion was not CGI, and that was super cool. But other than that, all right. Today's show, we're gonna do that. We'll say who on the Mavericks is a Barbie, who is an Oppenheimer, and then we'll talk about we may talk about the new rules in the NBA. I know that we've mentioned this several times, and we may get to it. It's kind of now a running joke. Maybe we'll just keep it forever as a running joke.
There'll be new rules by the time.
Yeah, there'll be newer rules. Actually, I think they have come up with the in-season tournament since. We're also going to do our tiers in the West right now. Where do the Mavericks stand in the Western Conference if everything shakes out just like the way that it is? I'm assuming a Dame trade, but we'll see. And then let's start here. Are the Mavericks done making moves? There's still maybe a Capella trade out there. There's still maybe another trade if they can latch on to a Dame trade as a third team, a Harden trade as a third team, a Siakam trade as a third team. That's what the Mavericks are still waiting on. And we're still kind of there. The other things that could happen, there's an open roster spot right now. So the Mavericks have been connected to Derrick Jones Jr. They've been connected to Kelly Oubre. They've been connected to some other players here and there.
Rudy Gay
is another one they've been connected to. JaVale McGee is still on the roster. We still expect the Mavericks to do something with JaVale McGee. And then now we have a two-way spot open. I expected McKinley Wright to fill that spot, but now he is, reportedly going to play overseas in Europe, so the two-way spot is actually open. And so now we have this two-way spot open. Any thoughts on where the Mavericks are? Another move they can make, the two-way spot. Here we are.
Yeah, I still think they make another move on the roster. We still have, I think it was even Nico the other day on the last Summer League broadcast or second to last one when he was like, yeah, we're not done because we still have another roster spot or two. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, I think it's not what everybody wants to hear, but I do think everybody's just waiting for the big trades. What's left? I say everybody, but I think everybody's just wanting to right now just see what happens with Dame. Mark Stein's been pretty adamant about Siakam, trade talks happening. James Harden, how does that affect Dallas? Can Dallas, jump in there? Are they waiting to see if they can be the third team and get a center? How does that affect Christian Wood? Is Christian Wood waiting out? Is he waiting out Miami if they get Dame, or is he going to go to the Lakers? And if he goes somewhere like the Lakers, does that mean Dallas could try to do a signing trade with him or something. So I think there's just Dallas is trying to be a ripple effect to something bigger right now. And honestly, that's probably just the best spot to be, because I think the other teams are waiting the stuff out too at the moment. So, but yeah, the McKinley Wright news, that was kind of surprising to me, but now we see what happens with that third two-way spot. AJ Lawson's in one, Mike Miles is in the other one. Do they bring in one of the guys from, summer league, like a Jelly Walker or somebody? They could, or they could look, elsewhere, or just leave it open and see what happens. You could bring 20 players to camp. So have some guys battle it out in camp and, then sign somebody coming out of camp. So we'll see. I do expect a couple roster moves. There's definitely going to be they're going to add somebody with that last roster spot eventually to vet men, probably, or a little over. But yeah, I still expect stuff to happen.
Yeah, something else. We do think something else will still happen, especially considering JaVale's still on the roster. We just don't know what it is yet. And yeah, they're waiting on one of these trades. Do you think they're in a good position to just be sitting waiting on these trades? What if nothing happens and they just run in and maybe they sign a vet min, somebody, they fill that two-way spot, JaVale's still on the roster, whether they play him or not, and this is it?
I mean, I don't know if I would say good. I think right now they would love to, they could get Capella right now. I think some of these other teams like Atlanta or they're probably, talking bigger stuff. So yeah, I think in a perfect world, Dallas could pull off just a trade with another team or something like that. But I'm speculating that everybody's just kind of waiting it out here to see what happens with the other bigger names.
Yeah. With the two-way spot, with McKinley Wright leaving, it makes sense just for him because he's about to turn 25 in October. He was going to be on that two-way spot. He was going to be competing with minutes between, obviously, like the players on the Mavericks already. They signed Dante Exum, who we think will play over McKinley Wright. They bring in Seth Curry, who I think will play guard minutes over, definitely over McKinley Wright, but he'll play guard minutes. Jaden Hardy has taken this step up. So they have so many guards already. Plus Mike Miles, he would be competing with Mike Miles for minutes at that two-way spot. So he was just getting really squeezed out. And so for him in his basketball career, he's got a young kid. He's got to try to figure out what's the next thing for me in my life. It makes sense for him to go overseas, get more money than he was going to get on that two-way spot, and set himself up in the future going forward. And so now the Mavericks have this other two-way spot that they can fill with somebody. Was there anybody that stands out to you? I think Jelly Walker and Taze Moore are both coming into camp on Exhibit 10 deals.
I mean, if I had to guess, I would guess Dallas would go the bigger wing route. You can never have enough wings on your team. Just for the sake of what you said. I mean, even Jaden Hardy in that factor too is going to be coming off the bench as a scoring guard. So, you look at a guy like a Jelly Walker who's a lot of fun, but as the third two-way spot, I don't know, because everything you just said about McKinley Wright and playing behind all the other guys, that's kind of where Jelly Walker would be at the same time too. So I'd expect it to be a wing. I'd be surprised if it's another point guard. What
do you think about Taze Moore as that spot?
Yeah, I mean, I liked him. I tweeted out during one of the games. I said, I like Taze Moore. I have no clue what he is at the next level, but you never forget he's on the floor, and therefore I like him. So I don't know. There's not like a comp. There's not a position that I'm looking at it and saying, you know what, he's exactly that. He just works his butt off, and he's going to make plays, and you're not going to forget he's on the floor. And I think that's something to say about a player. So, I mean, sure. I mean, let's see what it looks like in camp. Let's see what they do in camp. And I'd like to look across at some of the other rosters in the league too. And, not that I'm sitting there pulling out my, my legal pad here of my two-way spots of two-way players that's been released, across the league. But let's see if Dallas can take advantage of somebody else releasing somebody.
That's where AJ Lawson came from last year. He was on the Mavs summer league team. Everybody, at least on Mavs Twitter, wanted him to be on the Mavericks. Then he gets signed away to somewhere else, and then he leaves, and then he comes back to the Mavericks on a two-way last year.
Kind of like a Braxton Key. Braxton Key got signed by the Denver Nuggets, played a couple games for Dallas, then went to the Nuggets. And I mean, what if he gets released, in the future about Denver, then he could come back.
So that's where we are with the roster right now. There's still an open roster spot. We still expect something to move, but we just don't know what or when just yet. But coming up, we do know where the Mavericks should stand in the Western Conference right now. And we're going to talk about that in our tiers coming up. But before we do, let me tell you about Prize Picks. Prize Picks is daily fantasy made easy. You can go to Prize Picks right now, and all you have to do is pick 2 to 6 players, and if they score more or less in their Prize Picks projection, you can win up to 25 times your money. Go to Prize Picks right now, see what is available for you, and they have all kinds of stuff. Tons of baseball stuff. Oh, they got soccer. They don't have Women's World Cup up just yet, but they should have some of that stuff because they always have something like that. But you can go to Prize Picks. You can pick the hitter fantasy score for baseball right now. They have soccer. They have a bunch of different things. Tennis, MMA, boxing. If NBA season, like season plays, you can do on Prize Picks. So this doesn't even have to be like a daily fantasy thing. You can do Luka Doncic, 30.6 points per game average, more or less on that, Isaac?
Less.
You can do less on that. I got to pick a couple more to go with it. So you can go check it out. Again, it's prizepicks.com. You can use that promo code LOCKEDON. It'll give you $100 on the deposit. If you deposit $100, they'll match it up to $100. If you deposit $50, Prize Picks will give you $50. Again, don't forget to the promo code LOCKEDON at sign up for instant deposit match up to $100. That's prizepicks.com. Thanks, everybody, for hanging out with us on Locked On Mavs, being part of this show, making us part of your day. Appreciate each and every one of you. All right, Isaac Harris, let's talk about the West right now. We like to put things into tiers where you pick, all right, this is a group of teams we think are here, group of teams we think are here, and let's figure out where the Mavericks are. What's your top tier in the West looking like right now?
This was so dang hard.
So hard.
I think, yeah, especially where we're at right now. We're dropping these. We're dropping our first tiers on July 23rd. So let's just say that before any like bigger trades happen. You're like, hey, you had this team. I debated on Denver having their own tier of their own. I guess they should.
We're just doing regular season, what we think their regular season record is going to be, right? Or are you doing how good they think they should be?
I mean, record, yeah.
Yeah.
Best teams in the West. Yeah, I have Denver in a tier of their own.
I put the Suns up there with them because I think the Suns are going to be good in the regular season next year. I think that they'll take it seriously. I think that they have so much talent with those guys. They're really struggling in the depth department, but they did an okay job filling out the rest of the roster. Eric Gordon going over there on a minimum was huge for them. One or two of those guys, Yuta Watanabe, Keita Bates-Diop, like one of those guys will step up a little bit for them. And they still have Ayton too. Like it's not like they only have those 3 guys and nothing else. Like Ayton, Eric Gordon, and those 3 guys, it's still a really good lineup.
They lost campaign though.
They dumped campaign. they just dumped him for a couple seconds. But now, Isaac, that they have reloaded their arsenal of picks.
Yeah, they've replenished their draft capital.
According to Woj in those.
I have Phoenix second, and that's why I debated on
by themselves or just in the second one?
No, I have them in the second tier, but I have them as like the second team. I debated on Phoenix being that first tier now. So yeah. I'm with you on that. I think some of the depth stuff is being a little overhyped of like their lack of depth, but
their lack of depth to me just matters more for injuries than it does like on a game-to-game basis. Because on a game-to-game basis, I just named their top 5 players, and you play like 3 more, and you can pick 3 more out of like Keita Bates-Diop or Josh Okogie or those are fun, like Yuta Watanabe. Those are fine NBA players. It's just they're not great pieces. So
it's like if you have those 4 players like that are that good, then you're going to be pretty good.
But the problem is that Kevin Durant and Bradley Beal, they missed a bunch of games. They've missed a bunch of games the last couple of years. So we're expecting that to happen at a certain point. So here, that's where we are. But I still have them in my first tier. My second tier then.
This is where it's going to get
This
wild.
is so hard. Okay, I
honestly tiered the bottom of the West before I did the middle.
Yeah, I did sandwich. I did sandwich.
The bottom. Yeah, and then I had all these like package of teams. And honestly, like I think they're so small. Like right now, looking at the teams, looking at like 2 down to, I have like 2 down to 11. I know that you could talk me into any of these teams being in the top, but I actually have in my second tier, I have 3 teams. I have Denver at top, and then I have 3 teams, and then I have more. But
I'm going to go with the vet teams in the next tier here. And I'm going to regret this because one of the teams in my tier below are just going to blow past probably all these teams. Lakers, Warriors, Clippers as my next tier. I went with the vet teams. They're all fairly deep still. They still have a lot of their guys. I think the Lakers had a fine offseason. Maybe Anthony Davis won't play all the games this year. But I still think that they did really well. They at least figured themselves out towards the end of the last year. And yeah, I have those three teams.
Yeah, so I have Phoenix in that tier. And then the other two teams I had was Golden State and Sacramento.
Okay, so we just flip. You don't have the Lakers up there.
I don't, or the Clippers.
Yeah,
I don't have them in that next tier. And I know Sacramento, I think they're going to be a popular pick by a lot of people to take a step back because they didn't make a splashy addition. But I like their, I know people might laugh. I do love their continuity bet this offseason and just growing the young core. They play really well together. They've added a few pieces here and there, but I like what they did, and I think they'll be good again. So I have it. Yeah, I have Denver, and then the second tier, Phoenix, Golden State, Sacramento, and then after that, it's
tough.
Yeah,
Sacramento though, they won a couple more games than they won some more games than they were expected based on their numbers. If you just look at cleaning the glass, they're expected to be a 45 win team, and they won 48 games. And so they won a bunch of close, tight games. De'Aaron Fox, the clutch player of the year. I think some of that pendulum will swing back. Also, teams are going to be ready for them. They're not going to be surprised. Oh my gosh, Sacramento's coming in town. And they know. And so I have them in the tier below. The Clippers,
have fun.
They're just so injured all the time.
I'm tired of putting them at the top. I just can't.
I think they're tired of it too. I think Ty Lue's tired of it. I think their fans are tired of it. I think everybody is. I probably should have them lower, but I had all those. Is
it bad that I have 7 teams in the next tier? I just couldn't do it. I couldn't separate them. I couldn't figure out how to separate.
I split them a little bit, but yeah, my next tier is you also had less tiers you had less teams in your second tier, but I have Mavs, Kings, Pelicans, Grizzlies on my next tier.
Mavs, Kings, okay. Here's the sneaky thing about the Grizzlies too. I think them, like Sacramento, I think will be a popular pick by some people to say, yeah, they're not going to finish with, so-and-so record because Ja's suspension. I think them getting replacing Ja's workload with some vets in Marcus Smart and Derrick Rose. I do worry a little bit about their offense of, where they're getting points at. If Marcus Smart's got this, guys. But
it's not just Job missing the 25 games. Plus, he misses games for injury, in the year too. They also don't have Tyus Jones anymore, and he was the replacement for if Ja's out, he can right the ship. Who's that guy that's righting the ship, running the offense? They're really going to struggle for points because is that Marcus Smart? The Celtics just went through that for 6, 7, 8 years in a row. Is Desmond Bane going to take a step forward as a point guard? Yeah, he will. But yeah, so I'm curious where they're going to come up with some of that stuff.
Is there any bit shocking here because I'm going to take a shot at the Lakers? Is there any bit of the Lakers stuff was a little one-hit wonderish? Just they had it feels like a lot of the spare parts had great seasons or great second halves and got a lot of money. Austin Reeves, Rui, D'Lo's back, some of those pieces where I don't know. I'm not saying that they're bad players. I just wonder if I don't know.
This is gonna hurt. So
here we go.
Maybe fast forward. I don't think we're the podcast that should be pointing out the one-hit wonders and trying to point fingers.
What's the one-hit wonders for us?
Well, the Mavs just went to the Western Conference Finals and then missed the playoffs entirely this past year. So I don't know. We want to start pointing. That's a one-hit wonder right there. They'll never make it back.
I wasn't talking about them not making it back. I was just wondering. They had a lot of role players and a lot of, the spare parts who had great finishes to the season. That I wonder if is that who they are or did they?
Is there in February where we go, oh my God, people were talking about giving Austin Reeves $25 million a year and Rui Hachimura was why do we think that this team was good? There's a chance that in February we're saying that about some of these guys.
Yeah, I mean, Rui got traded for a bag of second-round picks. And then... Okay, can we agree that the bottom of the West is Utah, Portland, Houston, and San Antonio?
For sure. The Dame trade, if there's a Dame trade, I have Jazz Rockets in their own tier, and then I have Spurs Blazers at the bottom.
Okay. I really wanted, I agree with you on all that. I really wanted to put OKC higher. It's just hard. It's just hard. Like you can sit here and say, give me 30 seconds of why this team will finish in the top 5 of the West. Yeah. And you could do that with like 7 or 8 different West teams. And you can make a pretty dang good case. And for Dallas, a lot of it is the supporting cast. They have an incredible duo in Kyrie and Luka. I believe in how they're going to play together. But man, so much of it is riding on, you look at the next guys on the roster, to the shocking here, 3 through 6. It's Grant Williams, it's Josh Green, Tim Hardaway. Tim Hardaway. You're looking at some of the other guys, especially without a trade, and you're like, all right, we got a little deeper, added some young guys, but that right now is currently constructed. I just can't put Dallas in the top like 4 of the West right now.
I can't either. I don't have them even in the top 5. I think that if they finish 6 or 5th, that's a success for the season, considering what happened last year. So that's where they are. So that's where I think the Mavericks are. I have them in that like 5th through like 8th range.
Yeah, me too.
Coming up, let's talk about who's a Barbie and who's an Oppenheimer.
If you don't believe, you shouldn't be here.
All right, Isaac. Should I push the rules back to make it a bit now? Or should we do
it? The rules? Well, we don't have time to talk about the rules now.
We'll push the new rules. We'll push the new rules till another day. All right. Barbie versus Oppenheimer was like, if you're not an American, or maybe this is not something that translates, Barbie was a movie that was released, and Oppenheimer is a movie that was released on the same day. They're completely different, completely separate studios, completely separate everything, completely separate tones, and all of this. And yet somehow, collectively, humanity made it a thing that it was one and the other. One was the pink, bubbly humor. The other one was the dark, dark both in color and dark in theme of a movie. And it was more of a biopic. And so it's become a meme now where someone is a Barbie and someone is an Oppenheimer. It also says something about you if you'd rather go see Barbie, if you'd rather go see Oppenheimer. So I would say that I am a Barbie, and I would think you are more of an Oppenheimer if we had to just say.
I'd say that's a correct assessment.
There is a meme that was going around that said that our podcast was a Barbie compared to the Mavs Moneyball podcast, which is an Oppenheimer.
That's pretty funny.
That was an incredible meme. So you can do this with all kinds of things. If you watch New Girl, you look at Schmidt and Cece, and Schmidt is a Barbie and Cece is an Oppenheimer. There's all kinds of different couples on TV and relationships you could do with that. But let's just go through. Who do you think saw Barbie, and who do you think would see Oppenheimer?
Okay, let's do it.
All right,
give me a player.
My first one, Luka Doncic.
Barbie, yeah.
Absolutely. This is the easiest one on the whole thing. It's comedy, goofy, the bright colors. You look at his Luka, what's the Imaginariums? What are those shoes? You just see all the different colorways his shoes have had with the bright colors. This is so easy.
Yeah.
I also think that there's a difference between a Barbie. You don't take life as seriously, and Luka 100% doesn't do that. They're serious in the things that they do, but in that you don't take yourself too seriously. Whereas an Oppenheimer definitely does.
Yeah.
Okay. This was your idea.
No, keep going.
All right.
I'm more laughing of I don't know how to answer for Kyrie. I'm sorry.
I know how to answer for Kyrie. He's gonna be the last one that I do.
Oh, okay. I thought that's where you're going.
No. All right. Dwight Powell. This was kind of a hard one.
Oppenheimer.
I have him as an Oppenheimer too. Although he's like a serious, like, intellectual type of guy. Went to Stanford, so you can kind of see the Oppenheimer, but
very
then also
sarcastic and goofy too.
He's also sarcastic. Yeah, right. He's also very goofy.
But yeah, I think he would nerd out about Oppenheimer.
I also have his friend Maxie going to Oppenheimer as well with him.
Oh, I think Max would be Barbie.
Really?
Yeah.
There's lots of Germans in Oppenheimer, so I thought maybe he would enjoy.
Oh, okay.
Enjoy that. All right, another easy one. Jaden Hardy.
I mean, you just put the pink shoes on him right now.
Come on, Barbie. Let's go party. Oh, we got to do the. I mean, this is where this drop came from.
Party, let's go party.
Absolutely, Jaden Hardy.
Somebody tagged us in a photo to where he was at a party in Vegas, and I was laughing. I was like, 21, baby. Just turned 21.
He enjoyed his life there. JaVale McGee, another easy one.
Is it easy?
Yeah.
I guess it's Barbie.
Yeah. 100%. The goofiest guy in the world.
Yeah. Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Give me the case for an Oppenheimer then.
No. I'm not going to. I think it's yeah. I agree with you.
Seth Curry.
Oppenheimer.
Yeah. Yeah, I had an Oppenheimer too. Not as goofy. Doesn't take. I wouldn't say he doesn't take himself seriously, but you know he's that more side. He had to prove himself. Younger brother, different than Steph in that way. Your boy Omax.
Oh my gosh, this is hard. This is my favorite drop we've ever had.
So great.
Gosh, I don't know. I mean,
This took me a while too.
yeah. I mean, we need to be around him more.
He's a little goofy, but I think that he's more of an intellectual, and so I think he would go to Oppenheimer.
Okay, sure. I'll default to you.
That's what I think. I think he's one of those, like, there's also the conversation, are you a cat or a dog? And I think he's somebody that portrays dog and is actually a cat. You know what I mean? Where like he comes off goofy and he has, you know, high energy and smiley and all that, but he's also like a thoughtful, like, you know, type of person. Not the Barbie people. Not the Barbie people aren't thoughtful. I am one. So okay, Grant Williams.
Barbie.
I went Oppenheimer. I split it on this one.
Oh,
We're split on this.
I think he's a Barbie. Yeah. Did you see the Michael Rubin party?
He did go to the Michael Rubin, but just because you go there doesn't mean that you're a Barbie.
True.
Because like Tom Brady went there, and Tom Brady is not a Barbie. Tom Brady probably actually has a Tom Brady Barbie. Let's put it that way, but I don't think he is. Josh Green.
Oppenheimer.
Yeah, I have him as Oppenheimer.
Yeah, that's a lock.
Rashawn Holmes.
Oh, I have no clue. I don't.
Yeah, we haven't met him yet. I have him as a Barbie because he got along well with teammates, and is like, you know, an easygoing type of guy that, you know, everybody loves. So that makes me think he's more of like an outgoing type. But who knows?
This 100% has to be a media day question, by the way.
Oh, Kirk already asked me on Twitter. He said he said I need Nick to ask who went to Oppenheimer and who went to Barbie between all of them. But yeah, that's like 3 months from now. So
still doesn't matter.
We may not talk about Tim Hardaway Jr.
I knew you were going to. I've been struggling with this one.
This is the hardest one I think we've had. He's another one that portrays dog and is probably actually a cat.
No, I think I'm going Barbie.
I also went with Barbie too. I think he would do that.
Yeah. I don't want to say I'm going to all my reasons, but because then it's going to get kind of weird. But
only if you make it weird. All right, the last one.
It's great. It's great, dude. Dude, it's great. It's great. It's great, broski. Bro, name it. It's great. It's great. It's great, bro. It's great. It's great. It's great. This life's great, bro. I have no complaints. I don't.
Kyrie Irving abstains from either and goes to the theater for something completely different that none of us have heard of.
If he had to go to one though,
He's going to Oppenheimer. If he has to go to one,
I was gonna say it's Oppenheimer. Yeah.
Although he is a lot different now, we think, at least public facing. But he did make Uncle Drew, which is a very Barbie movie. Like,
yeah. I still think it's Oppenheimer though.
I also think that too. There you go. Let us know in the comment section. Who do you think is a Barbie? Who do you think is an Oppenheimer? Who do you think went to which one? And yeah, let us know in the comment section. We'll talk about the rules another day. Isaac will hold down the fort, and I'll be out. I'm going to Mexico. So if the
Guys, we're gonna party it up.
I was
This
gonna say,
week.
if the Mavs will definitely
Dad is leaving.
The Mavs will definitely make a trade while I'm gone. So enjoy that. Guys, thanks so much for listening to Locked On Mavs.
Peace out.
Boom.